Okay, great. Well, hello and welcome. Happy Wednesday. We are here in our AI Clubhouse and we are halfway through January. And I tell you what, the weather certainly shows it. I, I am in Orlando today because I'm doing a full workshop tomorrow on video and AI. In fact, we're video challenge. And so Bobby Nagami with Homecomings, he has his whole group he's bringing in. And so I had to outrun the storm because I live in Portland, Oregon. And if you haven't been watching the news, it is like shut down completely. I mean, there's ice, no one's leaving. So I actually headed across country last week so I could outrun the storm. So I am in Orlando. Yes.
And the Northeast is getting it tomorrow. So if you're in the Northeast, my friends, batten down the hatches because the snows are coming.
Yeah, it's definitely that time of year. But hey, we are here and hopefully you can hear us okay and the streaming is okay. I am on hotel internet, so sometimes that's a little choppy. But let's just dive into AI. You know, before we got started, Steve and I were having a conversation about really, you know, a challenge he was having as far as AI. And, you know, that's part of as we go through this kind of discovery phase is little things you find out, oh, it can do this. But then when I try to get it to do that, that doesn't work. And so that's one of the things, you know, as you're getting into this is figuring out. And so having the conversations, sharing information, what's working, what's not working is so important. So I think that's the first thing. So Steve,
there are a lot of promises out there. This is going to do everything for you. And I think eventually it will do those things, but some of the things, you know, you want it to go to 10, but right now it only goes to 2.
Right. Yeah. And depending on what you want to do. So one of the things, and just so you all know that the conversation that Steve and I we're having about using Dolly. And so if you haven't used Dolly, it is in Chat GPT. You have to have the paid version. So you have to have the plus or the 4.0 or whatever they're calling it right now in order to access Dolly. But it will create an image for you. The challenge is as you go into this, and Scott, I don't know how much you've played around with it, but the challenge I've had when I've gotten into Dolly is you ask it to create an image and then you ask for an adjustment to that image. Yeah. And it doesn't adjust that image. It gives you a whole new image.
Right. Yep. Yeah.
And
that's one of the challenges with the AI. I think Midjourney is able to do it, but that's still pretty complex. You have to use it through a Discord. But no, Dolly, you can't, it will never produce the same image twice. Yeah, that's a challenge with it.
The way I look at it, Scott, right? So like when you're in Chat GPT and you give it a prompt and it gives you something and you say, okay, but change what you just did a little bit, it goes back to those words and it will change those words and the style of the words. But when it's is it Dolly or Dally? I don't know exactly how to pronounce it. I apologize for that. Dolly, I think we're saying.
I always called it Dolly.
Okay. Yeah. But when you do Dolly,
there you go.
Dolly, yeah.
And you say change it, it doesn't change it. It creates a brand new. And I just want to throw this out there because I know we're talking Chat GPT, but I have a feeling that some of our folks are in like Salvatore Dali. Okay, thank you, Lee. You're smarter than I am.
Well, it's the combination of Salvador Dali and Wally is actually how they came up with it, as the two of those together. So that's and it's spelled the Dalle. So it's Salvador Dali and Wally is the two combined.
And Eve. No, I'm sorry. I just gone back to that movie.
Yeah.
But the great thing, things like Dolly, I don't know if anybody is watching this uses Canva, but now you have access to a lot of these apps, these AI apps that ChatGPT has. But if you're doing your marketing in Canva, you can create your images there if that's what you're trying to do.
And again, Not 100% perfect.
No, nothing's 100%, but I'm just saying, so some people say, oh, this is great here, but I wish I could work it over there. Look, all of these different tools that we're using, they keep pulling in other apps to be able to enhance the tool that they have. So look at what apps that they can use, because there's a lot that you can do that you might not be aware of.
Yeah, and so here's the challenge, Steve, is when you get into it, but I wanted to do this. Well, this is what you need to do that. And I'll give you an example. So we do a lot of podcast production, and with the podcast, we create short video clips. We pull short video clips out of the podcast, just like what we do with this one. And so those short video clips, we use an AI platform that's called InVideo. So it's InVideo AI. And it is great because you can upload an entire 30-minute podcast and it'll shorten those clips. It's not 100% perfect, but I can tell you it is a big time saver, because what used to take, honestly, hours for me to have a video production team go in and find and edit and clip and, put it into, whether it's they're using Premiere or Final Cut or, Adobe, whatever. So it saves a lot of time, but it doesn't create video. It doesn't do anything as far as new video. So it's just for those clips. And that's all we use that for, nothing else. And I just did a video that just released today on a platform that's called Video. So not InVideo, but Video AI, completely different platform. What it does is it does do AI. It does create the video. It does add the music. It does add the voiceover. And so if you don't like being on camera, then it is an option for you to go and use something like that to create a video. And so if you want to see that video, I think I've posted it in our AI Clubhouse. You can go to AI Mastery Center, which is where we're posting our AI Clubhouse, and watch that. I'll put some examples up. But I mean, that's kind of a lot of it. I think the first thing is you have to have a really good idea of what you want. And that's probably the best thing is, what do you want? And then go from there on what you want. So for you example, Steve, you want to you want to create a children's book, right? And
I've created it. Now I need to illustrate it, but yes.
So you need to illustrate. And I had this conversation. I did a children's book. It's a children's moving book.
And it's excellent.
Thank you. And I honestly created it. You can brand it for, you can get it for yourself. I mean, it's like a whole big thing, that I did. And we have some clients that have done that. And I had to find an illustrator, which was not an easy thing to do. And it wasn't inexpensive either. I mean, it's thousands of dollars to hire an illustrator, even just for a short children's book. And so having that, I think that there is a possibility of that soon, probably, my friend. But it's that discovery. It's like, okay, where's the system? What do I want it to do? So you want to find something for an illustrator. And, that's part of it, is having an idea of what do you want it to do. And Scott, you've been through this so much as far as, what do you want it to do? You've started down that. In fact, you've gotten to the point as far as what you want it to do is you really are helping a lot of businesses to be able to kind of navigate that as far as leveraging it, not just the ChatGPT, but really using it to get some numbers and some statistics and leverage in the business, right?
Yeah, like business analytics, business introspection, like looking at your websites, comparing websites, looking at competitors' websites, doing comparisons, competitive analyses, gap analysis, SWOT analysis. Yeah, based off of all information that's publicly available online. I had a couple of things that I wanted to add. I did a similar book project, but what I did is a coloring book, and it will do. So if you don't try to keep the same character on every coloring book page, you can pull it off. Right. So as long as there's not a theme, like a consistent theme, but if this particular part of the story, and the other cool thing is it'll create the complexity of the coloring book page will you can define it by the age range that the book is intended for. So if it's like a book for 4 to 6, it'll be big pictures that's easy to color. But if it's for like 9 to 11, it makes it a lot more complex with a lot more detail. That was an interesting thing that I went through. You know, the other thing I wanted to mention is when it comes to apps, all apps are overlays, and all an app is just a pre-written prompt. You can circumvent those apps and go in and write your own prompts and experiment with your own prompts. But all of these platforms that are out there, they're just pre-written prompts, but they're all using the same types of AI backgrounds. Most of them are ChatGPT, most of them are OpenAI. You'll see some that are using other, like Poe.com. I don't know if you've been on Poe. You can play with different large language models there and create chatbots. But, you know, Steve, when you started this off and you say it says it'll do all of these things, like, it isn't going to do anything, but it will help you accomplish anything that you can think of and then communicate. Like literally anything. I mean, there's things that it won't do, like it won't, you know, modify pictures, and there's certain limitations, but give it 30 days, like and it's going to do it.
We are in the middle. This is Darwin on steroids, right? I mean, the evolution is happening by the minute, what we're doing and seeing.
I found a website. Let me see if I can find it. I found a website that it's YouTube. It's a YouTube. Well, they say it's YouTube for AI created videos, and it's all videos that are 100% AI created, and they're horrible, but it's called AI Tube, and
the name's horrible too.
Yeah,
But it says the name.
but it's really, really interesting because it wasn't even a possibility 3 months ago. And then Stable Diffusion is kind of the company that started to figure it out. And like when I say they're horrible, it's like it's just not smooth and there's not definition. But when you look at it and you say this movie was created by just prompting, by just telling it how you want it to act, it's pretty amazing. And some of the things that I've seen that are super impressive is they can take a still image and turn it into a 10-second video. And those are really, really good. Like those, like it'll be a person posing, and then just like as a still image, and then the video will be them like turning around and doing stuff. But yeah, it's like this. One of the things that I don't know how to say this the right way, but don't look to AI for answers. Take questions to AI and learn. It's a communication tool, and learn how to communicate with it. If you get into that mode of I'm going to buy something that somebody is selling, that this AI is going to do something for me, you're really, really missing the boat on how powerful this is going to be as a differentiator for you in your business and even in your life. Scratch below the surface of this technology. It's worth it. The other quick thing that I wanted to toss in there is there were some changes to OpenAI last couple of weeks, and you know how you used to be able to do custom instructions where you can kind of say, hey, this is me. Well, now it's recognizing and remembering your behavior cross-thread. So it's recognizing your behavior no matter what you do. And so your ChatGPT that you log into is going to continue to learn about you more and more. So the more you use it, the more friendly it's going to be. It's going to start to learn how you work and how you communicate, and it's going to adapt to you. And it's going to be completely different than the way Ginger uses it, or the way I use it, or the way Steve uses it. So get those reps in. Get those reps in now. Most people aren't paying close enough attention, but they get those reps in, because it's going to meet you halfway on your learning curve. And then it's going to be a great partner for your imagination.
Well, if you're wondering too, and great, I mean, great suggestions as far as just starting diving in and using it. And I have it on my phone. And one of the things, if you want it to start learning you, then hit record, because on your phone, so not on your desktop, which I'm sure it'll be coming to, who knows, maybe it's out now. It's like you turn and it's like, oh, there's new. But on your phone, there's the little microphone, just like what you have on your Siri and everything else. And when you hit that, it will record your conversation. I've done this in meetings. And so if I'm having a meeting with someone, we're sitting down, it's like you hit record, it will record your entire conversation. It is learning you. It is learning how you talk, you know, how you communicate, what you're saying, what's important to you, your style, your whole style guide. And you can create a style guide based on that.
Yeah.
But if you want to start using it, record some of your conversations when you're on the phone, and then take that conversation, and all you have to do is put a prompt in here and say, hey, write a follow-up email for this conversation. And it will write a follow-up email based on that conversation. So it's little things like that that you can do that's going to serve two purposes. First of all, you're going to start learning how to use it. And then the second thing is it's going to start learning you. And it's just, it's just like, teaching a dog a new trick, right? It's like, I spent the weekend in Washington, D.C. with a good friend of mine. She has a wonderful, wonderful golden retriever named Gunner. And Gunner did not know how to shake hands. He would sit, but he wouldn't shake. And so I said, oh, you got to teach him how to do that. And John's like, oh, he won't learn that. And it's like, yes, he will. I know he will. And by the end of the weekend, I didn't even have to say shake. I just had to, point, and that paw went up and he shook. And of course he got a treat afterwards. But, it's like, that's what it's like, guys. It's just learning something new. And if it doesn't perform 100% of what you're looking for, that's okay. Have a conversation or post a question. And I think, Scott and Steve, that's one of the things for those of you who are, watching, listening, whatever. So this Facebook group and this call that we do weekly, we did, I think, almost 3 years, Scott, that we did this under Mortgage Influencers.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just talking to my son about that. I said, I think we're in our 4th year. And he says, that's really exciting, Mom. And I said, have you, what number are you on? I said, well, we started over again because we changed it to the AI Clubhouse. So I don't know what number we're on, but the whole idea in starting this is to create that community. So pose your questions, post them into the Facebook group, post what you're finding. If you're discovering different apps that are working or prompts, different prompts that are working, then share those with the group, because that's how we all learn and grow. So that's the thing that I would ask to do that, to include that.
The one thing I would add to the mobile is a secret weapon, you're so right about talking to it. Well, first of all, not only can you talk to it, but it will talk back to you, like in the voice mode, and that's scary because it does not sound like a computer. But that thread, that entire conversation will show up on your desktop. So it's not that you can only do it on your phone. You can engage with it on your phone through the voice, but then that thread will be in your desktop. And then you can go back and you can, like you said, write me an email about this, or give me bullet points on this conversation, or whatever you want to do with it.
So let's talk about that jumping back and forth, because it's just originally on the desktop. Now it's on the phone. And I had someone pose this question a week ago and say, how do I find my chats? Okay, there's not a search function right now for you to search your chats. I'm sure there will be down the road. So right now it's how you name your chats. And most of the time, although not all the time, there was a period where chat was not saving any names. And I don't know if you noticed that, Scott, there was probably 2 or 3 days where it's like new chat, new chat, new chat, new chat, new chat. It just wasn't, you didn't see that. It kind of went through that, and it still occasionally do that. So name your chat. And if it's a really important chat that you want to save, what you can do is you can share the chat. And what I have started, honestly, an Excel spreadsheet. And now it's getting to the point, hopefully, they'll start organizing it for us sometime soon, where I'm organizing some of those chats, and then I can click on that link and it'll open up that chat again for me and take me right back to that chat, and I can continue on. The other thing, if you create a GPT, and so last week we went through some of the GPTs and how to create those. There's the new GPT store. I have not spent a lot of time in the GPT store. I don't know, Scott, if you have. I know there's some big companies. Canva has a GPT in there. I think there's several companies that have GPTs in there. It's a prompt, is basically what it is. It's either a prompt or a series of prompts. I did try one that was a website prompt, and I didn't get anything out of it. So you have to kind of be careful about some of those things. It's not the be all end all by any means, but if you create a GPT, it will tell you how many chats you have in that GPT. And so that's where I think it's starting, probably in its sorting and its searching, where we're going to be able to have that. But for now, if you have a string, a series that you want to go back to in a prompt, you can save it. You just need to click on share, and then you need to save it someplace else. So those are some of the things as far as, tips, practices that can help you through that. Okay, questions. And I know next week, Scott, Steve, you guys both are going to be gone. So for those of you who are joining us, what do you guys want to see next week? What do you want? Because I can hop into chat. I can show you how to create a GPT. We can dive into one of the AI video platforms that I talked about, the InVideo or the video. Guys, let me know what it is. You can type it in the Q&A. If you're watching us on Facebook, you can type it in there, but let me know, what is it that you all would like to know about, and what can we share with you? So Lee's saying the AI video platform. Crystal, the video editing. Okay. So maybe what I'll do is I'll do a video walkthrough and show you how to do this. And I'm going to, and Crystal, you're going to know this. You're going to know exactly what I'm going to say. I don't want you to replace doing the video you're doing by having a platform like a video create the videos for you. So that's the thing that I think is the most important. Even though we are having a lot of these, having your face, your information, especially when we're talking about, educating around, financing, real estate, all of those things, that's important. So those are good. So Daniel says, let's have a share screen meeting to show the usage of ChatGPT and how it's used. Yeah, that's, I tell you, there's a lot going on in there. Crystal. Yeah, you've never said that. So I'll tell you what we'll do, and I think that's part of it too, is let's start kind of, peeling the layers back on this. And I'll show you the video, but then what I'm going to also do is I'm going to share with you a prompt that I am actually sharing in my video workshop that I'm teaching here in Florida tomorrow. And it's a great prompt that when you put this into ChatGPT, the way I set it up, it's a tree of thought prompt. So it means it has, the base root and several branches. And I'll go through that next week. And then I have a list of 300 mortgage video prompts. So if you put this in, it will honestly write your video script, write your social media posts, write your YouTube description. And all you have to do is just put the one prompt in and then put one subject what your topic is for that week. And the way that I've set this prompt up, it's so cool because it'll give you absolutely everything you need for your marketing for the entire week. So those are two things. I'm going to share with you the video. So how to use that to create videos. And those are things for like, those are things that you can use for repeat things. So, you know, some of those, you know, onboarding and things like that, you know, you don't necessarily need to be on the video, but then I really want to focus on how to use something like ChatGPT to go and to do those videos and to be on video, because those are so, so powerful. And I mean, Scott, you've been doing video for a long time. Steve, you've been doing video, although you need to do more video. I'm going to get after you, my friend. We need to see. I need me some more Steve.
People have been saying, "Oh my God, you're everywhere on my videos." But all right, maybe I just got to connect with you a little more.
I'm sending them to you.
Tag me. But a video that I just did on AI 2 weeks ago. I mean, it's like over 1,000 views. And I know a lot of it is because of just me being on video and talking about that. Oh my gosh. Okay, hop on here real quick. So we're doing our podcast.
Hey, Bobby.
Say hi, Bobby.
How are you guys?
So
Hey, Bobby.
so hold on. I'm gonna have to let me take off my.
No, it's okay.
No, I'll put you on.
Okay. Guys, this is a first time meeting in person.
Yeah, I've got my headset in. So for those of you who don't know, this is Bobby Nagami. He is a wonderful leader in the industry. He's actually who I'm doing the workshop with tomorrow. And this is the first time that we have ever met face to face. So the power of video, it's like we've known each other for years.
I know.
For a long, long
Absolutely.
time. It's like we're brother and sister, but we've never met. So that's the power of video.
Absolutely. You keep doing your thing.
Okay.
I heard
I'm
the
almost
voice.
done.
I was like, okay, I got those 100. I didn't know you were live.
Yeah, I'm live. Okay. And that's the power of live too. Okay, so that's what we'll do next week. And I'm going to check here in our comments. Very good. Okay, so we're going to do that next week. And you guys have a great week. Stay safe. For those of you traveling out there, stay warm. And we will see you all next week on another episode of AI Clubhouse.
Before anybody leaves, I'm just going to say one thing about Ginger. She has her 30-day AI challenge. If you have not started the 30-day AI challenge and you're somebody who's like, yeah, but I need to figure out, just start the AI challenge. All right. Go back to day one and just, so what, you're a couple days behind, boom, 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 lay it out there. It's really going to get you comfortable with the stuff that you're doing.
Yeah. And thank you, Steve, for that. Yeah. So I just, at the beginning of the year, it's like, hey, let's just start having a conversation about AI. So I'm honestly just throwing out different things. Sometimes it's a tip, sometimes it's a platform, sometimes it's a prompt, but that's what, AI, it's just all, it's everything. So that's it. Okay. Very good. Thanks, guys.
Everybody.
We will see you next week. Okay. Bye.